2000's Young Hollywood, a guide. If you're gay, fat, skinny, not in between, you have probably had some kind of interest in young Hollywood. Well, lucky you. I'm straight, but I'm skinny, and I'm here to tell you everything you need to know about young Hollywood in the 2000s. A group of talented, beautiful tigers sitting at the top with nothing to do. 9/11? She's over. It's time to party, and the media's looking for someone to blame, and I think I can give them what they want. Useless? Maybe. Useful? Full of holes. In 2006, Hollywood had become a breeding ground for a group of people who didn't have that much in common when you really think about it, apart from the fact that they were all young, rich, and skinny. Whether you were an heir with too much money and nothing to do, a down-and-out actress ready to take on the role of Hollywood's young ingenue gone coke, or just a hottie with an internet connection, Hollywood was the place to make your dreams come true, on the up or the down. As Nicole Richie described it in her 2005 book, The Truth About Diamonds, the nightclubs of LA are like soap operas. There's always some bizarre drama that plays out every single night, and everyone in the cast, I mean everyone, is great looking. With the internet becoming a mainstream commodity for the first time ever, and the public having more access to the young and beautiful than ever before, things were bound to go a little overboard. Was it fate or just coke? No one knows, but what I can tell you is that in 2006, celebrity, especially its scandalous variety, reached a height it had never reached before, pumping the culture so hard it all came crashing down the next year. Here's everything you need to know about anyone that was anyone in 2006 and where they like to party. Small screen sirens. Name, Heidi Montag. Claim to fame, fastest pit stop at the body shop. Most likely to buy out an arena and tell the press she sold out. Favorite place to let off steam? Seen more at the plaza than out at the clubs, especially after a certain little bitch decided to throw a fit at Le Deux. Heidi Montag, best consumed with her tonic other half, Spencer Pratt, had a rush of celebrity in the late 2000s that ended as quickly as it started. After capturing the attention of a small femme part of the population with The Hills, she tried to latch onto and monetize the last dregs of fame she had left when The Hills ended by paying $2 million to record an album that sold less than 1,000 copies, and also casually spilling to the tabloids how much plastic surgery she was getting every few months. Sadly, the surgery or the studio time didn't pay off, and she's more likely to be pictured at the grocery store than Giorgio Baldi. But we'll always have the memories of her little bitch fit at Le Deux with LC, or that time she freestyled,
I got Heidi Wood, I'm wearing it all day, I like it, so what do you got to say? You got apple bottoms, what? You know it's going up, keep going, I'll keep flowing, you know what I like to say every day, I'm in New York, it's all good this way.
or tried to freestyle on TRL. Mischa Barton claimed fame humping her neighbor's fence. She was also on that show, most likely to spike someone's drink at a party, then drink it later on. Favorite place to let off steam? The highway off Route 66. The verified Entertainment Weekly It Girl of 2003, raking in 6 million viewers per episode of her hit show The OC, which dropped to 4 million after her departure, Mischa had been straying from the path of righteousness ever since she lost her ability to book a role. By 2007, she most likely had had enough of living a drugged out, spaced out life in private and decided to take a leaf out from her former peer Lindsay Lohan's hashtash when she started combining the drugs with the limelight, creating a toxic, inescapable mix of celebrity. While she has been known to party with such famed club scene staples like Nicole and Kim, Mischa is more remembered for her solo adventures, like that time she got busted for a DUI and then posed for the paparazzi a day later, or when she overdosed herself at Nicole Richie's Memorial Day barbecue. Even though Mischa hasn't seen the bright lights of a paparazzo since her last overdose, her fanbase of very disturbed femme individuals still likes to keep up with her adventures nowadays, which includes trips to the Hollywood medium and reliving the wild days of her youth, looking better than ever. Love you forever, Marissa. Hayden Panettiere claimed fame, young, rich, skinny, barely legal, blonde, white, and also dated her 31-year-old co-star when she was only 18. Most likely to have a book of Lila's head stuck on nudie pictures. Favorite place to let off steam? Hyde, with Lilo in tow or solo. TMZ's favorite piece of jailbait, Hayden is mainly remembered as a close runner-up to Lindsay's party girl throne. Playing the part of angsty teen rebel, she reminisced to Us Weekly in 2016 how she tried to fight off expectations for her to be a perfect angel compared to the other teen train wrecks of her generation. Coming from a hit lead role in the NBC show Heroes, Hayden hit the Hollywood club scene at just 17 and quickly found a mentor in the reigning party queen, depending on if you like brunettes or blondes, Lindsay Lohan, who taught the young starlet how to party hard and throw the lilo. Although Hayden's reign isn't as remembered as a lot of other Y2K party girls, she certainly has clogged up TMZ's archives back when they tried to break her as the new Lilo with some very interesting headlines. Audrina Partridge, claim to fame, my least favourite member of the Hills, most likely to flash the paps while getting robbed. Favourite place to let off steam, apparently not Heirs. Audrina Partridge is an interesting one. Breaking onto the Hollywood scene with the Hills, Audrina had the same drive to make it big as her friends/ex-friends, but just never had the pull through, that pokey, that insatiable determination to kiss life and death at the same time. You know what I mean. Don't get me wrong, she knew all the right steps, flashing the paps, turning off your house alarm, getting your tits out and getting rejected from Hyde. She just never flicked the beam far enough. No matter what, she'll always be remembered as a victim of the bling ring. Audrina Partridge, may your celebrity rest in peace. The Heirs. Name, Nicole Richie. Claim to fame, too skinny not to be. Most likely to pass out from hunger at a club, make herself throw up afterwards, and then get arrested for reversing onto a crowd all on the same night. Favourite place to let off steam, Hyde, Ivar, Ledoux, Lax, anywhere that will let her in. One of the leading members of young Hollywood, Nicole Richie has a very special place in the history of West Hollywood clubs. Whether she was literally passing out on the dance floor at Hyde or taking Vitakin and smoking pot before driving the wrong way on the freeway.
911 emergency.
Yeah, if you're heading on the 134 West, there was a car coming on the off-ramp, driving the opposite direction of traffic, and he was basically entering on the exit.
Nicole certainly knows how to make a scene. Always a sharp word ready at the tip of her tongue, Nicole first wowed the US of A in 2003, when she and her ex-bestie Paris Hilton played around with some poor people on TV. There was outrage, there was scandal, she became a celebrity. As the years went on, she and Paris fell apart and their show started to drop in ratings. But Nicole was still able to arouse the public, doing what she knew best. Being skinny, talking shit, and being a rich bitch. When she wasn't smoking pot on the freeway checking her texts, you could catch her out with Paris or chatting shit on late night. Brandon Davis, claim to fame, eating rich pussy, most likely to sweat on a girl during intercourse and have her mistake it for cum. Favourite place to let off steam, on himself. Can't lie, it's kinda hot, like rubbing against a great big. Brandon entered Hollywood riding a young Mischa Barton. The two were completely love-struck. Anyways, he was soon riding everyone, literally, and made a night for himself as one of the bad boys on the Hollywood boyfriend go-round. On nights out with Paris and Britney, he gained a reputation for his amazing sense of humor and deep husky voice that makes a girl just want to pass out a Ledoux. And he soon became a star in his own right after his infamous firecrotch monologue, earning the nickname Greasy Bear. As the train wreck 2000s came to an end and the Forever Wild party girls settled just for Forever 21, Brandon was pictured less and less, and the last piece of info we have on him is a 2016 article in The Hollywood Reporter sharing how he's apparently launching pop-up art shows. We love you, Brandon. We love you. Kimberly Stewart, claim to fame, daddy. Most likely to do nothing, she's fucking boring. Favourite place to let off steam, on the pole. Fucking on the pole. Kimberly Stewart. How do I even begin to explain Kimberly Stewart? Well, she once posed nude with Peter Geldof for Tatler. We love you, bitch. R.I.P. bitch. You're really fucking hot, bitch. Anyways, about Kimberly Stewart. She seemed to know everyone on the young Hollywood scene, even if she was never featured as one of them. Articles about her and Lindsay feuding, she's been pictured with Paris a few times, but I think she's most remembered for being one of young Hollywood's daddy's girls. Girls who aren't that interesting themselves, but you know, they came from expensive cum, so yeah. Kim Kardashian. Claim to fame, one dead Nicole Simpson. Most likely to end up on Real Housewives. Favourite place to let off steam? Before it was wherever Paris was, now it's wherever she's not. When young Hollywood was in its scandalous heyday in 2007, could anyone have guessed how big of a star Kim K was about to be? Probably not. Even with the prospect of her new reality TV show on the horizon, it was still unclear whether Kim was just another blip on the scale of tried and failed Paris wannabes, or whether she was a true bona fide star. She was certainly trying to let us know that she was. 2006 was the year of Kim tacking herself onto anyone that meant something to a reader of Us magazine, to make herself into a bigger something. 2007 was the year where Kim let all of her things shine. It started to seem like the student had overtaken the master. Because Kim was so career driven and didn't seem to lead as soap opera a life as some of her peers, Her young Hollywood era isn't as interesting, at least to me, but she certainly does have some gems. Like that time she told Paparazzo she couldn't deal with all the drunkenness at the New Club Opera. Or that time she went out to Popeyes with Paris. Or this look at Lax. So Y2K. Name, Ashlee Simpson. Claim to fame, shit stains and anal gains. Most likely to spasm to her own music. Favorite place to let off steam, at the Fall Out Boy concert. Still. Ashlee Simpson, heiress to the Simpson throne. Sadly, it was never meant to be, but it didn't mean she never made a name for herself as a Hollywood it girl. You could view Ashlee's it girl career as a basic template of how to gain a reputation in the mid-2000s. 1. Be born skinny, white, rich, and related to someone famous. 2. Start going clubbing with all the regulars so the tabloids start naming you as their best friend. 3. Do something scandalous that will make the whole nation chant for your death. 4. Start swimming in the murky STD-filled pool of young Hollywood bachelors and date whoever your friends are dating. 5. Become an Us magazine icon. I love the SNL video, really hits home, and I definitely think a lot of people can relate to what she was communicating through dance. I also love her iconic Orange Bowl halftime performance. Name, Stavros Niarchos. Claim to fame, Hollywood it girl's nymph of choice. Most likely to have been secretly dating Ashlee this whole time. Favorite place to let off steam, Le Duff for the fun, hide when it gets serious. The penis that everyone has seen, Stavros certainly got around in the mid-aughts. Built like a Greek god, packing like a sweaty nationalist, this billionaire shipping heir entered Hollywood on the anorexic arm of Mary-Kate, soon overpassing her to date everyone's favorite blonde, Paris Hilton. But then he couldn't make his mind up about what he wanted, so he started flinging between Paris and Lindsay, the dark-haired Pookie who had recently caught his eye. As the 2000s came to their fortunate inevitable end, so did Stavros' time in Hollywood, and he hasn't been seen on the streets of LA since. Not much of a talker, we haven't been able to hear the divine thoughts that must go in a beautiful mind such as his. However, we'll always have the pictures. We'll always have the pictures. Name, Kelly Osbourne. Claim to fame, horrible haircut, bad sense of style. Most likely to pick up drugs on her way to rehab. Favorite place to let off steam, the drive around the block back to rehab. A delightful addition to the aughts, Kelly always knew how to bring a party to life. Whether she was hanging out with a barely weighing in Amy Winehouse or she was getting her freak on with an equally freaky Avril Lavigne, Kelly always dressed to make a statement, perhaps to mask the utter emptiness and desolation she felt inside. As the decade went on, she certainly cleaned up a little, but we will always have the memories of little Kelly breaking through and making her mark on the world. Memorable moments include a fabulous cover of MDNA's Papa Don't Preach, a shell shocker of an interview with Avril Lavigne, and a chill hangout sesh with the one and only Amy Winehouse. R.I.P. babes. Munching Musicians. Name, Mandy Moore. Claim to fame, named in an Aisha song. Most likely to reject cunnilingus. Favorite place to let off steam, wherever her dead boyfriend is. While she's certainly a 2000s pop staple, Mandy Moore isn't that remembered as one of young Hollywood's wild girls. However, she was connected to a very important person in the club scene in the mid-2000s. For a short while, Mandy was dating DJ AM, a friend of Paris and Lindsay who completely revolutionized DJing in the early 2000s. After gaining prominence from his engagement to Nicole Richie, he was the first DJ to become a household name and became a major pull for audiences at clubs who came just to see him. He also owned one of the most popular clubs in Hollywood, Lax, which Paris called the worst club in the world, but it still must have been pretty good. He was the first DJ to command a $1 million contract for a Las Vegas club residency and DJ'd private parties for the likes of J-Lo, Leonardo Dicaprio, and Paris. As for Mandy Moore,
you're a flop.
The Madden Brothers. Claim to fame, they've slept with like literally everyone. Most likely to introduce their partner to crack. Favorite place to let off steam, at home with their baby mamas. The Madden Brothers are a centerpiece of 2000s young Hollywood, as they've each dated two of the most important figures, Paris and Nicole. Benji dated Paris back in 2008, and even told Ryan Seacrest that he really wants to put a baby in Paris. They broke up a few months later, but maybe there was a baby in there, at least for a little while. Joel first dated Hilary Duff in 2006, but they broke up when he started seeing Nicole. The two had a whirlwind romance, which gave birth to a baby 1 year later, which she tried to hide for a while long, and they are still together today. Honestly, one of my fave couples. Benji went through a rough phase with Kat Von D, but is now happily married to Cameron Diaz, who we love. I love the seasons.
I like the seasons.
Name, Britney Spears. Claim to fame, British accent. Most likely to speak in a British accent while wearing a pink wig. Favorite place to let off steam? Las Vegas! But also hide Le Deux, Ivar, and Lax. What would the 2000s be without Britney Spears? What would TMZ be without Britney Spears? Where to even start with Britney's blackout era? And I'm not talking about the album. I'm sure most of you are now very well acquainted with this period in Britney's life, so I won't try to go in detail because I couldn't in the length of this video. But I do think it's an interesting idea to try and look at this period in her life through the view of analysing the Hollywood club scene. Britney wasn't really an instigator of this world, but I do think her appearances in and around the clubs of LA brought an attention to this scene that there never would have been without her. Her late nights out every now and then with Paris Out to Hide or Le Deux brought a certain touch of dark mystery to this otherwise very banal world, usually occupied by your Hiltons and Richies. Because of her extreme hold on the public's attention, she shone a light on this crazy party scene where everyone was jerking each other off, celebrities trying to get in next day press, paparazzi trying to take celebrities' pictures, social climbers trying to get close to either, all of them aiming to experience a higher level of drama and sensation each time. As well as the fact that Britney also had a lot of iconic lines and looks from this period. Personally, I love the pink wig, and I also love Go to the Light Britney. She really is just iconic. Aaron Carter claimed fame, too much of a good guy. He just wants to love people, guys. Most likely to murder Lindsay Lohan. Favorite place to let off steam? The Shag. But also Shag. Aaron Carter, a nice dusty timepiece of the early 2000s who's become a rapper now. I didn't even know. Did Machine Gun Kelly come first or did he come first? Having a penchant for breaking the hearts of young girls, he gets older, they stay the same age. Aaron Carter made a name for himself when he dipped between the two reigning queens of Disney in the early 2000s. I started dating Hilary Duff on my 13th birthday. I was dating her for like a year and a half, and then I just got a little bored, so I went and I started getting to know Lindsay Lohan, dating Lindsay. He hasn't been anywhere near the light of these fantastic artists for a long while now, but he was still living it up in the late 2000s, gaining a reputation as a Hollywood bad boy. In 2006, he caused a stir when he proposed to playmate Carrie Ann Paniche, then broke the engagement off after just 1 week. Carrie later saying he has emotional problems and that she really wants him to get healthy and happy. I think we'll always just remember him as the guy who sent Lindsay down the path of decadence and abuse when he got back with Hilary. Why did you do it, Aaron? Why did you do it? The actors. Name, Tara Reid, claimed fame being a drugged up bitch, most likely to have her nipple fall into her wine glass while talking about the pros and cons of nationalism. Favorite place to let off steam, wherever she will get let in, which is not a lot of places. I love Tara Reid. I love Tara Reid. I love Tara Reid. She just has that warm, glowing blonde innocence where you can tell she really just means good, even if her efforts are a little misplaced. Yes, Tara didn't get into Hyde, blah 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 blah. But what about the time she did get into Villa Lounge? Or what about the time she let her botched titty fly at Diddy's 35th? Or what about the time that she wore underwear? You people focus on the wrong thing. We need more love. We need more peace. By 2007, while everyone else was in jail, rehab, the hospital, or hell, Tara had classed it up a little. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Although we like to pin down Tara's it girl era to simply being the girl that got rejected from Hyde, I think it's really important we reframe our perspective and look at all the good things Tara did back in the naughty noughties. Like that time she ended terrorism.
About when mean people want to be mean to each other, buy a country together and just blow each other up. And then we'd have no terrorists left. Like, don't kill innocent people for no reason. It's not fair.
Or that time she defended disgraced publicist Lizzie Grubman running over 50 people.
Have you ever, do you drive a car?
Yes, I do.
All right. Have you ever on the stage, like, I've done it before, like...
You run over 60 people? That's not... Come on. But you go ahead. Go ahead.
Turns out you
All right, go ahead.
I've done it, and like, not, but she didn't mean to, first of all.
You've run over people.
No, but it wasn't about that.
All right, go ahead.
Stop laughing because I'll get pissed.
That's the idea.
Or that time she fell out of a club in London at 4 a.m. Classic Tara. Hilary Duff claimed fame being a basic white bitch, most likely to fuck your man on the down low. Favorite place to let off steam? A real penchant for Hyde. Does she have dignity? I don't know. For someone who was left twice by young Hollywood bad boys for superior aughts it girls, Hilary Duff certainly chats a lot of shit. I have to say I much prefer her sister Hailey Duff. Hailey just has that sparkle in her eye, like she really knows what to do. I trust her. But Hilary? If you want my opinion, and yes, I know you do, the bitch is jealous. She's jealous. She wants what these girls have. That deer in the headlights look, haven't eaten in 2 weeks glow, that tight, coked up skin texture. I mean, look at this. She looks like she stored a bottle of Pinot up her coochie, and honestly, she's not pulling it off. R.I.P. Luca Chris Comrie. It's too late for you, babes. It's too late. Name the Olsen Twins. Claimed fame, the only people ever to do the 3C diet, cocaine, coffee and cigarettes and not end up with a felony. Most likely to offend Peter, those pesky Olsen Twins. Favorite place to let off steam? East Coast, West Coast, doesn't matter. As long as you have a smoking area and some Pinot, we're all good. The smoking hot Olsen Twins. What to say about them? Again, extremely important to the overall narrative of the 2000s. Well, mainly Mary-Kate. MK dated both Stavros Niarchos, Paris' ex, and David Katzenberg, Nicki's ex, before them, so it seems like she's a bit of a tastemaker in the Hilton household, even if Paris likes to call her a jealous, ugly, anorexic idiot.
So ugly, I'm jealous. She's just a jealous, ugly, anorexic idiot. Shut up.
You're beautiful.
Hi, Dad. I know, she's pathetic. We really don't. I love you, Paris.
MK was also wrapped up in another 2000s scandal when she was called by Heath Ledger's cleaner before the police when she found Heath's dead body. MK has been through it. The Olsen Twins are so much more important to the 2000s in general than just to young Hollywood. By the time they had grown up from their acting career in the 90s, they had a whole generation of young girls hooked up on their every move and word, and were big tastemakers, later demonstrated when they started at NYU in their new star, grabbing headlines for their wacky hobo chic, massive sunglasses and venti Starbucks cups. If you want to know more about that, check out this video. They also had many other iconic young Hollywood moments, like MK's weight loss scare, that time Ashley braced for impact to avoid the paparazzi, or that time MK flipped off the paps. Love the Olsen Twins. Leonardo Dicaprio. Claimed fame, biggest collection of Victoria's Secret panties. Most likely to not give an actual fuck about the environment. Favorite place to let off steam, Las Vegas or Villa Lounge. Compared to the other people on this list, Leonardo DiCaprio stands out quite a lot. He didn't break through with a sex tape, he doesn't date the same 5 people that his friends date, and he's much less likely to be seen at Le Deux than he is at a place like Nacional, which is why I included him on this list. There's another side of young Hollywood in the 2000s that most people don't consider when they think about young Hollywood because it wasn't publicized as much. Leonardo DiCaprio's young Hollywood era represents the ultra-exclusive part of West Hollywood, where all the clubs had much more of a family feel and actors were much more likely to visit than socialites or pop stars. The promoter for most of these clubs was a woman who Ryan Gosling nicknamed the midwife to LA. She gained a reputation for being one of the most aggressive young nightlife promoters around the turn of the millennium and helped build up some of West Hollywood's most exclusive clubs like Opium Den, Joseph's, Dublin's and Nacional. These clubs were a lot more intimate and chill than the places you hear about in Y2K Tumblr blogs, and most of the stories and pictures from these places have never got out. Of course, the actors that would frequent these places would get up to TMZ-worthy adventures in their own time, like that time Leo nearly drove over a pap while he had his mirror covering his face. But you could be sure that on this side of Hollywood, you weren't going to be in TMZ the next day if you didn't want to. Kate Moss. Claim to fame, Alien Eyes, White Lines, Lolita Smile. Most likely to reverse someone's recent recovery. Favorite place to let off steam, wherever any young star is going wild. Lindsay, Winona Ryder. Also paparazzi's faces.
Ow!
The queen bitch, biggest supermodel in the world, she survived the Big C, Coke scandal, 2 times and she's only getting better. Back in the mid-aughts, Kate was wilding out under the pressure of a career that told her what to wear, what to do, where to go and what to say. If Kate wants to snort cocaine, Kate can snort cocaine. Okay? After getting busted by the British tabloids one too many times, Kate spent some time in the US of A with her fellow troubled peers like Winona Ryder, whose career was still reeling from the effects of her spiritual enlightenment project in Saks Fifth Avenue, and Lindsay Lohan, who was, as we all know, popping off. Literally. While Kate never frequented the same clubs as most of the young Hollywood crew, she certainly was in and about LA around this time and was still picked on by the tabloids, like when she won the most annoying overpaid model of 2006 by Star magazine. She added a certain rustic flair to the otherwise pornographic synthetic youth of LA. Like that time she tried to run over a paparazzo with her baggage trolley at Lax.
Sorry, we're just wearing a job today.
While her child was on it, or that time she cut down a paparazzi who hit her on the head with a camera.
Coming back.
Ow!
We love you, Kate. Queens of the Night. On one side, Lindsay, dark-haired, passionate, out of control. The other, Paris, blonde, cutthroat, manufactured. Who really won the game of Y2K? Was there even a winner? Was it even a game? It's two leading stallions charging forward, making pop history. To think what Andy Warhol would have done with Bimbo Summit, One Night in Paris, Lindsay's Wild Ride. This is what dreams are made of. Who knows what was going through Lindsay's mind when she first decided to step out of the strict boundaries of the mouse and cause a little drama. Maybe she just needed a little attention. Maybe she was spiraling. Maybe she knew exactly what she was doing. Or when Paris first put on her blue contacts, pumped up her hair, rolled up her skirt, and let the paparazzi cut her all over. Did she know what she was creating? Did she know that future generations would study her every move, like they were prepping for their first makeout sesh? Whatever they were thinking, what they did was exceptional. Divine, extraordinary, using the attention and resources they already had to exploit the potent combination of handheld cameras and the internet to create a toxic mix of celebrity, a kind that had never been seen before. As the decade went on, it seemed like there was no end to the madness of these wild, rich it girls as they pushed the line further and further until the buck finally broke in 2007 and the small privileged world that they built came crashing down upon themselves, sending them to jail, rehab, or worse, the cemetery. Were they the queens of the night because they caused the most drama, the most scandal, the most headlines? Or was it simply because they had nothing else to live for, except their own pleasure and will, symbolizing a decade where Americans ate up their own potential, still reeling from the effects of 9/11? Whatever it was, Lindsay led the night, going out of control like the policies America couldn't get a hold of, and Paris led the day, constantly reapplying her mask to hide the pain of her inner turmoil. And Britney was the light. This was the world like we had never seen it before. This was the world of Y2K. This was the 2000s.